Let's do it. Let's get started.
Kick things off. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. I am Adrian Solgaard, and this is
Hi, everyone. This is Sarah Jordan.
wanting to kind of give you guys some intro to the business, a little bit more in depth, kind of talk through some of the products, some of the history, and then also, of course, answer your questions. I'm assuming that you're all here. You know a fair bit about the company already. You know some of our best-selling products like the Carryon closet, our suitcase with a built-in shelving system. I don't actually have it with me behind my desk. It was getting a bit chaotic, but you kind of know what the products are, so we're good on that. You know a little bit about our history. So we've been around for 4.5 years. Started out originally, I was living in Mallorca, an island in Spain, and I had been on a date with a girl who had her backpack stolen, and I had this idea to make a backpack with a lock attached to it. I had been making bike locks before for 3 years, but I wanted to do something sustainable. So the first product was a solar powered backpack, and the first product was the Solar Bank, which is a solar powered Bluetooth speaker with built-in power bank. So I disassembled a friend's Christmas lights and thought, well, wait a second, if you can power Christmas lights for a whole day with this little tiny solar panel, maybe there's a way you could charge your phone with it. And so that's kind of where that original thing started. And then about 2 years into the business, I was surfing on a beach in Bali and was disgusted by the amount of plastic that was just in my face. And I started thinking, okay, well, we're hearing more and more about this ocean plastic crisis. Maybe there's something we can do with using this plastic and making products out of it. Started digging. It took about 2 years to set up the supply chain, and now we make all of our products with Shortex. So Shortex is the fabric that we use to make all of our backpacks. And that's actually an unreleased product. I can't show you that one. Our best-selling product is, of course, our best-selling backpack is, of course, LifePack, which is the backpack that has the solar panel built into it, and you can slip the solar power bank right inside. Yeah, so a little bit of background on us. Yeah, what do we have coming up? We've got a few exciting things coming up. Sarah, you said I can't say who the new retailer is.
We can't say the retailer, and we can't give the specific products just yet. I know it hurts my heart, but everyone keep your eyes peeled for over the next couple weeks, because we're just crossing the i's and dotting the t, or crossing the t's and dotting the i's on a couple things before we can go live with them. So yeah.
What we can say though is that, well, there's still a day and a half left to go, but our October numbers are more than double last October for our on-site e-com stuff, which is great. Our e-commerce business has grown really nicely this year. I think just a combination of people with COVID or being more comfortable shopping online, and also we've just really nailed our marketing mix, and we've really figured out which products sell really well and how we can kind of get that out to the right audience. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a perfect segue into a lot of the questions that we have. So thanks to everyone who signed up and submitted questions. So a little bit of housekeeping, just so that everyone is aware. We have over 50 questions that were previously submitted, and we've segmented them into sections of product, start engine itself, sustainability, and we're going to go through. We are going to keep ourselves honest and not go more than 30 minutes on a Friday afternoon before Halloween. But what we will do is, if we don't get to your question in time, this session is recorded, so we're going to post the recording, but then we are actually going to have all of the questions, ones that we answer and ones that we don't answer, typed up, and they're going to be posted on the Start Engine page as a campaign update. And then they're also going to get emailed to everybody, because you guys did submit an email at time of sign up. So I don't want anyone to feel bad that their question got missed. We truly do want to answer each and every question, because we did get some fabulous questions. So that was my housekeeping spiel. And Adrian, are you ready? You want to dig in?
Let's go.
Excellent. Okay, so the first series of questions are kind of forward-looking, just about the business overall. So the first is from Sean. So thank you, Sean. Adrian, what is your long-term vision for the company?
So really, we started out with this travel focus, right? With backpacks and suitcases, and they were a part of it, but we don't want to be stuck only in the luggage and travel gear category. We found that some of the innovative approaches that we've taken with, like, the backpack, we called it the mobile office, and the Carryon closet is your mobile closet. And so really geared towards this busy life on the go that suits the millennial lifestyle. And so we like to use the phrase internally, exceptional everyday essentials. So making items that are good for the everyday, but they're like exceptional. They enhance your life in some sort of way. And then of course, everything to be made sustainably. We're finding it an interesting challenge of figuring out right now. We're working on optimizing our branding and tightening it up a little bit. And so we kind of have these mandates where it's like every product needs to make your life materially better. It needs to make your life easier, and it needs to be made sustainably. And so like combining these two, that's kind of like where our special sauce is. And so we see that with things like the Home Base, which we launched on Kickstarter this year, which is a smart shelf that you can pop your phone on, and you can then wirelessly charge your phone when it sits on there. And so there's things like that where it's a little bit about your life on the go, but it's you come in the door, you throw your phone down, and it can charge up. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for us to go wide with our product range, but for the sake of efficiency, we're going to keep it pretty narrow, focused on the focus range of products that we have now, and kind of maximize our opportunity that we have, and then we'll expand into other ranges.
And a good deep dive.
When we have
go further down the rabbit hole with what we know we're good
exactly.
at.
We know we've got a really good collection of stuff we're great with now. So.
Yeah. And just, Adrian, I think you're being a little bit modest. I know when you and I met probably 2 years ago, we met for a coffee and you rattled off, I think like 10 different things you wanted to do that you had in the pipeline. So,
the pipeline
never ends. The list does always get longer.
The pipeline has no lack of opportunity, but I think for the sake of utilizing our cash as efficiently as possible means focusing on which product ranges work well. And then as we drive those, each product unit becomes profitable, and that can grow. And then as that grows to a nice, not plateau, but as that grows to a solid spot, then can we go sort of to the next one. And we'll only kind of do one at a time so we don't get too distracted.
Exactly.
And yeah, for the sake of keeping the team and everybody like optimized, organized, and efficient, it makes sense to not jump too crazy too quickly. Exactly.
So keeping with future looking, so Zachary, your question was, what are the goals for SoulGuard in the future? And then Mark, your question was, what kind of company would you like SoulGuard to be in 5 years? So that they're similar to the first question. So I think we kind of have an idea of where your head is.
Yeah, so the 3 questions and was trying to answer all of them in the same.
Exactly. Yeah. So the next question is from Neil. So Neil asks, what are revenue projections for the next fiscal year? So that would be 2021.
Yeah, for 2021, we're hoping to double from what we are this year. There's a little bit, we need to be careful with what we say on this because it's going as part of Start Engine, and with the SEC guidelines, we cannot say what we will achieve because that would be, we can talk about what our hopes and goals are. But yeah, there's definitely Sarah, I know you have the legal language figured out a bit better about what to say and not to say. So
so the goal is between 2 and 3x for next year. And if all indications are, if things continue going the way that they are, that should not be a problem. So, okay. Similar question, a question from Robert. So what are the sales expectations for the Q4 holiday season? Obviously, given 2020 has been a very interesting year to say the least. And how many distributors do we currently have engagements with?
So 2 questions here. So first one, expected for holiday season, we're looking at double over last year. Can we say numbers?
So I think double. I would hold off on that for now. Yeah. So we think we're going to hit 2 to 3x last year, and that is, for us, we're really proud of that, given that 2020 has been the year that it has been, and with the impacts of COVID. And so far, October has, if the next 2 months behave the way October did, we will more than.
September was double. October was double.
October was double.
So
yeah.
We're on a good
We're
path.
on a good path.
And then what was the next question? How
many distributors are we engaged with? So
Best Buy is now live. That's not the big boy that we're talking about. That is a big one that's gone live in the last week or so.
The last couple of weeks in September, we were finally able to go live with Best Buy, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and so we're kind of keeping our focus because our best-selling products are the suitcases. They're pretty large items, and so for us to get efficiency on shipping those units, it's making sense for us to keep our focus here in the US. We do have a distributor in Japan who's recently placed a reorder. We do have a distributor in Korea who's handling our suitcases as well. And we have one in UAE also. And we're in discussions with another group for mainland China for opening up a store there. It's not, we have an LOI signed so far, but we don't have the final structure.
Nothing's final yet. Yeah,
Something,
in discussion.
We've got some
Excellent.
good potential there.
So last question in the future-looking statement, our future-looking theme is from an Adrian, actually. What is the highest ROI, return on investment, spend that you have seen? And when you finish this raise, what are you going to gear the money towards to achieve the highest return on investment?
I love this question because our origin story is kind of great. When we launched the first product on Kickstarter, which was LifePack, the solar powered Minted backpack, I had $600 in my pocket, and that went on to raise $600,000 in about 6 weeks. So Hexagon has six.
I'd say that's a pretty good ROI. I don't know. I'll take that Adrian, as looking at as being over your finances, I'll take that every day. Every day. I'm done. I will sign up for that.
Now, well, we can't promise those kinds of returns all the time. We do, when we launch new products, that's kind of our biggest driver. When we launch a new product, that's where there's a lot of excitement. So like the home base, for example, which we launched on Kickstarter this year, also raised $600,000. And that we had invested under $20,000 to get that product developed and ready and out into the world. So new product launches are a big spot there. On a more consistent basis for advertising, what we want to see as our sort of our floor is like a 3x or a 4x.
3x, 4x ROAS, so return on our
ad spend. So that's perfect. When we're advertising on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, that's kind of the bottom end of where we want to be. We do see some ad sets that perform closer in the 8x or the 10x range, but like more consistently in that 4 to 5 range is kind of where we're looking at from an advertising investment perspective.
Perfect. And then knowing that this is kind of where we're getting our bang for the buck, the second part of that question is, what are we wanting to do? What are you wanting? Where are we gonna, at the end of the raise, when we, get a check, where are we putting that money?
Yeah, so the majority of the money is going in towards more inventory and into some advertising as well, and then a little bit is earmarked for new product development. We try to, the safest way for us to hedge these investments is once the inventory we know is a safe bet because we know these products perform well. The marketing is a safe bet because on a daily basis we get our reports of how much we spent and how much we got back on that. So that's another really solid metric that we can keep our finger on the pulse of. And then the new products, for some businesses that could be seen as a pretty risky category, but for us, we've had 5 product launches that have been all 6-figure launches within the first 30 days. So we know that when we launch a new product, we're able to get off to a really strong start.
Off to a great start, and then it just blends into the rest of the product line and just generates ongoing revenue. Excellent. Okay, so the next section we have, we received, it is 2020, so the elephant in the room is COVID. So we do have some questions about COVID. The first question we have is from Deb. So thank you, Deb. She asks, what effect has the pandemic had on our business plans?
So at first, when the lockdown happened, April was a very slow month, let's say, it was safe to say, as to be expected. After that, we've started to really see, well, the first product that we launched then within the pandemic was the home base. We wanted to make our first at-home product ready and bring it out to the world there. We had some concepts and some thoughts around it beforehand, but really we were able to flesh that out, make a proof of concept, make the prototype, and launch it within about, was it 2 months? We launched June 5th or something like that. Decided to take it on.
It was April when we were concepting, and then I think it was launched in June. Yeah, so I think it was about 2 months, 2.5. It was quite quick.
And then now we're seeing this like backlog of people's pent up demand to travel. I don't know how the rest of you are feeling that are on the call. I'm just so desperate to travel. And I think that that's what so many other people are feeling. And now people are buying their gear in anticipation for like, okay, they're getting ready to go away for the winter for a little while, or, you know, change pace. And so we're starting to see mobility happening a lot more. In the US alone, there are currently now more than 1 million people traveling a day, according to TSA's data, which is great news for us. What's good for us as a smaller size business in the travel space compared to a large group like Samsonite, where they have such a meaningful pie of the market share, we can still grow in these kinds of conditions. And we have grown in these kinds of conditions because we have so much opportunity of people that are looking for smarter travel gear. And if there's anything the pandemic has taught us, it's about how global the world is and how much everything is interconnected. And so I think that is making people more aware of sustainability and placing more value on that for their purchasing habits.
Excellent. Okay, so one last question on COVID, and the question comes from Jeff. The nature of the world for the past 7 months has been remote work, and he says, I assume the team is working remotely. Yes, we're remote. I'm still remote. I'm in my home in Long Island. How are you keeping your team motivated, active, and engaged?
So
difficult thing to do when remote.
motivated, active, and engaged. So I'm just going to write down the 3 so I have them. So we're doing, in terms of motivation, we've tried to give everybody as much flexibility as possible through this time. In terms of keeping engagement, for the first 2 months or 3 months, we were having 2 daily calls, one at 10 a.m. and one at like 5 p.m. One at 10 a.m. and one at 5 p.m. every day for like a 15-minute non-scheduled just sync up, just to give everyone the chance to like chat. And we were able to maintain and keep our relationship. You know, relationship with your coworkers is super important. And by having that, we were able to kind of feel how everybody else was feeling a little bit and have this conversational water cooler chat around like, hey, what's going on in the world? How are you? How's your family? Has anyone been affected? That kind of stuff was a really good way to keep everyone connected. And that, I think, helps drive the engagement where you're in a good relationship, having good rapport with your coworkers. Keeping motivation up has also, we've got such a great team. So everyone's a very industrious and hardworking person that's on the team anyway. So that motivation is a little bit inbuilt. And I think figuring out the balance of setting short-term goals and longer-term goals where people can be motivated to hit those targets. And then we're having different, bonuses that are associated with certain goals here and there. I think it's been good.
Yep. And I'm again, I think you're being a little modest, so I'm going to add in a little bit to that. We talk about, you had a list of 20 things that you've wanted to do. Actually, the way that I feel that we tried to look at this lockdown time when we were at home is we actually used it as a time to kind of double down and focus on let's do all the things that we've wanted to do. Let's make those happen. We have the time to focus on them now, and I think the home base was a fabulous example of that. We got that thing out in two and a half months, which is incredibly fast. And I think knowing that we had some of these fun things that we could focus on that weren't necessarily travel related. The home base is not travel related at all, but getting into this next at home and what we call focus category, I think helped engagement because it was just a fun project to work on, and knowing that we had the time to kind of dig in and get our hands into something new was fabulous. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I kind of answered a little part of it for you because I think you're being too nice. Okay, now we have some product questions, which are pretty fun. So a question from Chris, and actually, Adrian, we get this question all the time, so be ready. Chris asks, are there any new colors coming from the suitcase, purple or pink?
I know you're so excited about not just any pink, you want the day glow pink.
Oh, I want the day glow, like 80s, like, yeah, absolutely. It'd be great.
So yes, the colorful thing is something really, I really want to make a white suitcase with black edges on it and make it look like a stormtrooper, just like Star Wars. But there are some other colors that we're looking at. And that's actually so this year we launched Granada Green, which is kind of an olive green. Love the way that color turned out. You can see it on our website. we launched that in the carry-on closet and in the trunk. So that's been very well received. Actually, we do super well so we have someone who's involved in consulting us occasionally, who used to be the chief merchandising officer at Tumi. And he was saying that, you'll sell the most black, and then this, and then this, and then this. Our red is over indexing so much. So we're looking at getting some of these other brighter colors out sooner. And so, yeah, there is kind of a purple, a pink, a yellow we're looking at. We're joking about minion yellow. There's a lot of colors that can be potentially quite fun for us to have.
Potentially is excellent. So a question from Michael, and actually this is a good question. There's a part B to this question that I actually have, which maybe you'll help. Is there both a carry-on and a check-in?
Yes, there is. There are both sizes. I wonder can I just run and grab both of them?
Sure. So, well, actually, why don't we have two carry-ons, and I always get confused at the difference between the two. So why don't you talk? One's a euro, one's a US. I still don't understand what the difference is. So help me understand that. I'm like, a carry-on's a carry-on. It fits in the bin.
You know that Americans tend to like things plus size. So do we have a carry-on plus as well? So this is the Euro size. They're really, it's funny because they're really close. So the typical American airlines will allow you to carry on a slightly larger check-in than the smaller budget European airlines. And so we have the European airline size one where you can have, I think, hold on, yeah, pass that one to me. Let me see. I can't.
A little bit of a product show and tell for everybody, our little factory.
Oh yeah, no, so this is the difference, where it's about 2 inches taller and it's about a couple of inches wider. But that extra little bit allows you about 15% more packing space. So that's the two sizes of carry-ons that we have. And then we have a check-in, which is this big guy. It looks like a Smeg fridge to me. But so this is a trunk shape. And by making it the trunk shape, rather than the typical rectangle shape, it makes the closet system more stable. And also it makes it more stable when you're rolling it. Because of a more square shape, it gives a more balanced rolling experience.
Excellent.
And keeps your center of gravity a little bit better.
And then within both the carry-on size and trunk size, I believe we also segment, and there is a zippered expandable version, and then just so
you could do we do a closet and a non-closet in both.
Perfect. So looks like we have whatever you need, however you need to pack, and whatever your preference is, it's there. Okay, excellent. Okay, one last question in the product, and I'm going to see how many we can get through in the next.
I'll try to answer a bit more quickly.
What future product are you most excited about? It's a mean question.
I can't quite tell you. There's something new that I've been working on for almost 4 years now that we're going to be launching publicly in probably March, maybe April, but probably March. I'm really excited about that. Oh, quickly. In about 2 weeks, we're going to be launching on our website some like card holder wallet type things. So we've got these coming out in a couple of colors. We've got some toiletry kits coming out.
A new accessories line.
And these are all going to be like, so this is these are the gift with purchase kind of things that we're going to have as part of our Q4 promo plans, where the gift with purchase thing, for when you buy a suitcase, you can get a free toiletry kit as part of our Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal.
Fabulous little preview for everybody. Okay, so I have a couple questions on Start Engine and the raise itself, and just kind of how it works. We had a lot of questions on that. Question from Paul. Paul says, "Hi, I really would have liked to have invested, but why such a short notice?"
Why such a short notice? Is that in regards to the we weren't all the information should be on the campaign. We are still live, so I think that question is a little bit confusing. Maybe it could be because when we launched the campaign, we didn't have any preview information. We weren't able to say, "Hey guys, next week we're launching this investment." According to Start Engine's rules and regulations and the SEC guidelines, you are not allowed to make a public. You're not allowed to advertise public information of an offering that's about to happen, because that would be considered insider trading or something. So we were only able to tell people once it was live. Then we sent out the emails to our Kickstarter community first, and then afterwards we sent it out to the rest of our email audience and our regular customer list.
But the campaign is still live.
Campaign is still live.
It is still live. Okay, perfect.
Today.
Perfect. Excellent. So a question from Brian. Brian says, I sent $1,000, or I invested, and I have received no verification or any documentation from my shares. What should I do?
So that is probably handled by the Start Engine team. contact@startengine.com is the email address for their team. If you're having any issues, let us know, and we will line up what we need to line up to get them your info.
Yeah, and just so everyone, just to give a little background information on Start Engine, and it's part of SEC regulations. When there's an investment, the funds get held in escrow, and then when the funds move out of escrow and then get dispersed to us, that is the only time that we actually can see even the name and the contact person of the investor. So we don't have a way to look into the account. So I would definitely say, we can help connect you with Start Engine, and they can help look in the back end to let you know what's going on. All right, the last two.
I see Susan answered a question into the Q&A here, and I just need to say it. She says,
oh, go ahead.
I want to say thank you because the issues with the original Kickstarter, following along and purchasing products, the LifePak battery had issues, but the fact that we took responsibility and replaced the defective products makes her a believer for life. Thank you so much, Susan. That's exactly what our mindset was. We had an issue with one batch of our solar bank product where the factory changed out a thing at the last minute. And after being exposed to the sun for more than a minute, it like flipped a breaker, like it flipped a switch inside. So the LEDs stopped working. The power bank still worked, but the LEDs stopped working. And so we had 3,500 people that had been shipped this defective product. We worked it took 8 or 9 months to deal with the factory to come to a resolution. We ended up needing to switch factories. We got a new factory to make all the new units and replace them. And I think that's a testament to the kind of integrity that we have, and that we want to always make sure that our customers, we believe in the long-term relationships with our customers and with our investors. And by offering that kind of confidence and support in everything that we do, we actually mean the things that we say, and we actually follow through on the promises that we make. And I think that level of dedication comes out in not just our product design, but also in our customer service and in the way that we want to treat everyone in the way that we exist.
Excellent.
So anyway,
thank you, Susan. Thanks everybody. So we are officially at 3 o'clock. So this is clearly a learning, Adrian, for you and I, that I think 30 minutes is probably not long enough for these sessions. I do apologize to everyone for the questions we didn't get. This is the first time we've done one of these, so this experience was a learning experience for us. But like I said earlier, every question that we've received, we do want you to get your answer. You asked the question, and they're fabulous. So we are going to send those. We will type them up and we will send them out, as well as posting them to the Start Engine as a campaign update.
Yeah, and we'll get those out by probably Monday or Tuesday, just to give us time to make sure we get them out.
Monday or Tuesday of next week. Yeah. So again, I personally just want to say thank you so much to everyone, and for all the questions that were submitted. They were really fabulous questions. I had fun going through them. And thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with us. And I hope you all have great plans for Halloween and tons of candy stocked up.
Good stuff. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great
Bye, everyone. Have a fabulous weekend.